Yes, Swindon in the early 1900s, a railway town belonging to two railway companies. The first railway was the Great Western Railway, who had built their main railway works in the northern part of the town, at the bottom of the hill. The other railway was the Midland and South Western Junction Railway, who had arrived in the early 1880s. But this video isn't about the railways. This is about Swindon's tramway. The tramways in Swindon was owned by the company that opened on the 22nd of September 1904. This company was Swindon Corperation Tramways. The tramway's goal was to connect Old Town with the new Swindon, where the railway works was located. The tramway was an instantaneous success, although would close in 1929. Although just 2 years into the company's history, it would have the second deadliest tram accident at the time in the United Kingdom. Thursday evening, June 1st, 1906. 70 to 80 passengers board a tram bound for Swindon Station from the Corn Exchange in Old Town. A mechanic had been called to the Corn Exchange to look at the tram after some problems were reported, but he was ushered away by the driver saying nothing was wrong. Most of the passengers had come from the Bath and West show from a nearby farm in Swindon. However, the tram could only hold 58 passengers, and so therefore was overloaded by about 10 to 15 people. This would have some serious repercussions. The tram started perfectly fine, headed straight towards Victoria Hill at the top of Old Town. As it rounded the corner and onto the hill, trouble began to arise. As the tram began its descent, most of the passengers were unaware of the motorman's attempts to start braking. As tram number 11 sped up, most of the passengers became concerned, although others weren't, as they weren't from the local area and didn't realise what the speed of the tram down the hill was. Despite the motorman's best attempts to slow the tram, it was no use. He held on to the tram until the very end. Meanwhile, with the passengers, concern became so much that a couple of passengers jumped to safety. But for the rest of the passengers, it was too late. The tram overturned at the bottom of the hill near Regent Circus. 2 people were killed immediately on impact. These 2 people were Roland J. Dunford and Charles Pippin. About an hour after the accident, 2 more people would die of their injuries. These were Harry Dyke and E. H. Crode. To make the situation worse, another man, Thomas Neat, died 6 weeks later of his injuries, bringing the death toll to 5. This now meant that the Swindon Tram Disaster of 1906 was the second deadliest tram disaster in the UK at its time. But how exactly did this disaster occur? Sadly, an exact cause has never been found, but there are many theories to how it happened. One of these theories is that somehow the brakes failed, or the other theory is that the extra passengers caused the sheer weight of the tram to overpower the brakes on the hill. Whatever happened, happened. Today, the Swindon Tram Disaster remains the UK's 5th worst tram crash, although it is largely forgotten in history. There is no memorial or anything of those sorts to show that the tram crash even happened. But those who survived and who were affected had their lives changed forever.